For the last 30 days, I tracked every single dollar I spent, and the final total was shocking. I'm going to show you exactly where my money went, reveal the 3 biggest leaks that were costing me hundreds, and give you the simple system I built to fix it. Stick around, because the final number is coming at the end. So here were the rules for my 30-day challenge. It was simple, but brutal. I had to track everything, every single transaction. That meant cash. Every coffee, every corner store, run. It meant every card swipe. Groceries, gas, online orders, all of it. It also meant subscriptions. Netflix, Spotify, that gym membership I barely use. I had to count those too, even tips. That extra $1 or $2 adds up. You'll see just how much in a minute. My method was basic. I used a simple notes app on my phone. At the end of each day, I'd take 5 minutes to log every expense into a spreadsheet. Date, item, category, and cost. That's it. No fancy software needed. All right, let's get into the numbers. Week by week. Week 1. I spent, without changing a thing. I just tracked. I wanted a clean baseline. The result? Total chaos. By day 7, I had already spent over $1,000. The biggest surprise was the sheer number of small, impulse buys. Now for week 2, this is when things started to feel real. Just knowing I had to write it down made me hesitate. That morning, coffee. I skipped it twice, but old habits die hard. I still had a few big online purchases. Week 2 came in at $980. A little better, but not by much. My running total for 14 days was now $2,130. I was starting to see patterns. And honestly, I was a little embarrassed. One of those patterns was my biggest money leak, which I'll reveal in just a bit. Then came week 3. This is where the experiment took a sharp turn. I sat down and looked at the data from the first 2 weeks. The numbers were staring me in the face. I identified my 3 biggest spending categories, and I made a few simple rules. You'll see those rules in a second. The result: my spending dropped. A lot. Week 3's total was only $650. That brought my running total to $2,780. The change was immediate. I was finally in control, and that brings us to the final week. In week 4, I was operating on my new system. The rules were in place. My daily spending was intentional. No more mindless swiping. The final week's total was $575. The lowest week of the month. It felt like a cracked the code. Now, let's get to the good stuff. The leaks. After analyzing all the data, I found 3 major black holes where my money was disappearing. Here's the weird part. They weren't big boon-off purchases. They were small, daily habits. The number 1 biggest leak. Food. Specifically, eating out and delivery. I spent $580 on food I didn't cook myself. That's lunches at work. DoorDash when I was feeling lazy. Weekend brunches. For example, a $15 salad for lunch here, a $30 pizza delivery there. It was death by 1,000 paper cuts. $580. On convenience, the second biggest leak was subscriptions. But it gets worse. It wasn't Netflix it was the subscriptions I forgot I had that free trial for a productivity app that turned into $10 a month, a premium membership for a service I used once. These zombie charges added up to $95 in 1 month. Money I was just giving away. And the third biggest leak was impulse buys online. You know the feeling. It's 10 p.m. You're scrolling and you see something you need. For me, it was gadgets, books I never read, and clothes I didn't need. These random, unplanned purchases totaled $320. Gone. So, the turning point happened at the start of week 3. I saw those numbers and knew I had to change. I didn't want to live on a strict, miserable budget. I just needed some guardrails. So I created 3 simple fixes, one for each leak. And you can copy these today. First, to fix the food leak, I made the cook for rule. I committed to cooking just 4 nights a week. That's it. It still left room for spontaneity, for going out with friends, but it forced me to plan ahead just enough. This one rule cut my food spending in half. Next, to fix the subscription leak, I did a 5-minute audit. I opened my banking app, searched for recurring charges, and asked one question for each. Did I use this in the last 30 days? If the answer was no, I canceled it on the spot. It took less than 5 minutes and saved me almost $100. Finally, to fix the impulse shopping, I created the 24-hour cart rule. If I wanted to buy something non-essential online, I had to add it to my cart and leave it there for 24 hours. No exceptions. 90% of the time, I'd completely forget about it or realize I didn't actually want it. This single rule eliminated my late-night boredom shopping. So, what was the difference? Let's compare before and after. In the first 2 weeks, before the fixes, I spent an average of $152 per day. After implementing the fixes, my average daily spending in the last 2 weeks dropped to $86 per day. That's a 43% reduction. Without feeling deprived. Okay, it's time for the final scoreboard. The moment of truth. Over 30 days, the grand total I spent was $3,355. Now for the scary part. The total amount wasted on my 3 biggest Leaks food subscriptions and impulse buys came to $995. But here's the powerful part. In just the last 2 weeks, by implementing my 3 simple fixes, my total savings compared to the first 2 weeks was about $900. Money I can now use for things that actually matter. Investing, saving for a vacation, paying down debt. This whole experiment led me to a new, permanent system. It's simple, sustainable, and it's called the 3-bucket system. Here's how it works. I have 3 main categories for my money. First, bills. This is for fixed, recurring costs. Rent, utilities, insurance, car payments. These are non-negotiable and get paid first. Second, needs. This is for variable but essential spending. Groceries, gas, household supplies. The budget for this can change, but you can't eliminate it. Third, fun. This is the game changer. It's for everything else. Eating out, shopping, hobbies, entertainment, guilt-free spending money. The key is setting weekly limits for the needs and fun buckets. I transfer a set amount into a separate account each Monday. When the money's gone, it's gone. It makes your spending decisions automatic. You don't have to track every dollar forever. You just have to check one number, your weekly fun money balance. This whole system takes about 10 minutes to set up, and it completely changed my relationship with money. Subscribe. Next video I'll share the exact template I use for this system and give you a full setup.